There are times, oh yes, there are times when the soul, like a house, must be torn down to the bones, to the beams, to the very dust of its foundation. Times when the pillars that held you up grow tired, splintered by storms of betrayal, loss, or failure. Times when your name, the very sound of it, tastes like iron in your mouth because the world has whispered so many lies into it that you forget it once rang with beauty. Times when the mirror does not know you and you do not know yourself. And in those moments, you may be tempted to gather the remnants of your former self like old bones and stitch them together with fraying thread. But you must not. You must let what is broken stay broken. Let what has died remain in its grave. For the glory is not in the resurrection of the old, but in the rising of something wholly new. You were not born to remain ash. You were born with the fire in your belly and the wind at your back. So if you must fall, fall like the oak tree, mighty and slow, and let your roots remain. Fall with grace, fall with thunder, fall with the knowing that you will rise again, not as you were, but as you are becoming. Rebuilding yourself from scratch is not a tidy task. It is not a gentle gathering of loose ends. No, it is a trembling walk into the wilderness of the soul where you peel away all that is false, all that is borrowed, all that was handed to you without love. It is a holy unmaking, a sacred unraveling, and it begins in silence, in that still, aching place where the old songs no longer soothe and the old dreams no longer fit. That is where you begin. Strip away the layers, the titles, the math, the stories others told you about who you are. Let the silence swallow you. Let it echo in your bones, for it is in that silence that the whisper of truth will rise. It will not shout. It will not bang on your chest. It will curl around your ribs like warmth, and it will say, you are more than this. Begin again. To rebuild yourself from scratch is to be both sculptor and stone. You must chisel with trembling hands the woman, the man, the soul you were always meant to be. You must look at the jagged edges, the broken places, and not turn away. You must see the cracks not as flaws, but as windows, for it is through the cracks that the light enters. It is through the pain that the poetry is born. You do not need permission to begin again. You do not need applause. You do not need the approval of the crowd who never knew your heart, who never tasted your tears, who never wept in the midnight hours with you. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them doubt. For while they are watching, you are rising. You are laying new bricks with the mortar of grace and the steel of will. You are raising a cathedral from the dust of despair. And no, it will not be easy. The nights may come cruel and long. The voices of your past may claw at your newness like shadows aching to be remembered. But do not look back. Do not go back to the ruins to reclaim what no longer serves you. Do not drink from the poisoned well of familiarity just because it feels safe. Growth is not safety. It is the storm before the bloom. It is the wilderness before the promised land. You will be tempted to compare yourself, to measure your progress against the rhythms of others. But remember, sunflowers do not envy roses. Eagles do not long to swim like whales. Your journey is yours alone. Your path may win through valleys others cannot understand. That is not your burden to carry. That is their limitation to release. In the rebuilding, you may find parts of yourself you had long abandoned. The laughter you tucked away after heartbreak, the wildness you buried to make others comfortable. The dreams you shelved because life came knocking with bills and burdens. Find them, dust them off, let them breathe, let them dance in your new house, your new name, your new skin. And while you build, speak kindly to yourself. Oh yes, speak to yourself as you would to a child learning to walk again. When you stumble, and you will, do not curse your knees, bless them. They are learning. When your voice shakes, do not silence it. Let it sing anyway. Let it be raw. Let it be honest. Let it be real. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be whole. And wholeness is not the absence of wounds, but the weaving of them into wisdom. The turning of scars into scripture. The making of pain into poetry. Rebuilding from scratch means gathering courage from the corners of your soul. It means saying, I don't know who I am becoming, but I trust her. I trust him. I trust the divine blueprint written in my spirit's handwriting. Build slowly if you must. Lay each brick with intention. Paint your walls with joy. Open your windows to forgiveness. Plant gardens of peace in the yard of your mind. Let the sun pour through your heart each morning and the moon kiss your worries each night. And don't be afraid to outgrow what once felt like home. Sometimes the house you lived in was never meant to be yours. Sometimes you were surviving in borrowed rooms with cracked floors and locked doors. But now you build your own. One where your name is etched in light. One where your soul sings and the walls dance in rhythm with your heartbeat. There will be days when you want to quit, when the weight feels unbearable, when the old ways whisper sweet lies of ease and comfort. But remember, you did not come this far to settle. You did not brave the fire to return to the ashes. You are not the smoke. You are the flame. Every time you rise, you write a new stanza in the poem of your life. Every time you choose growth over fear, you carve a new river through the rock of your soul. Every breath you take in courage is a song of liberation. Sing it, even if your voice trembles, especially if it does. Let no one rush your healing. Let no one dictate your pace. Let no one tell you how to rise. You know, deep in your belly, beneath the layers of doubt and delay, you know. Trust that knowing. Trust the rhythm of your own rebirth. And do not wait for the world to see you before you see yourself. Do not wait for applause before you dance. Do not wait for love to find you before you learn to adore the miracle of your own presence. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too lost. You are beginning. And beginnings are holy. They are wild. They are sacred. Rebuilding yourself from scratch is not a punishment. It is a privilege. It means you are not defined by what has been. It means your story is not over. It means there is more of you to uncover, more of you to write, more of you to live. So rise. With trembling hands and steady heart, rise. With tears in your eyes and laughter in your lungs, rise. Build yourself not in the image of what was, but in the vision of what can be. You are becoming every day, every hour, every sacred breath. And that becoming, that is your birthright. That is your power. That is your glory. Let me know if you'd like this formatted for print, delivered as a spoken word piece, or adjusted in any way. And while you are becoming, do not forget to rest, for even the moon in all her fullness needs time to retreat into shadow. Even the sun must slip behind the hills to breathe. There is power in the pause. There is divinity in the stillness. Let no one shame you for needing time to gather your spirit, to fold into yourself like a bud waiting on the right warmth to bloom. Flowers do not open on demand, and neither should you. Give yourself the grace of rhythm, the grace of season, the grace of ebb and flow. You will find that not everyone will understand this new path. Some will clutch at your past, trying to keep you tethered to a version of you that made them comfortable. But you are not their comfort. You are not their projection. You are not their memory. You are the living, breathing testament of evolution. You are the thunder that woke itself up. You are the river that remembered how to run. And when they cannot walk beside your rising, do not dim your light to meet their shadow. Let them go, not with bitterness, not with malice, but with a soft understanding that not all who begin with you are meant to finish the journey. Your loneliness in the rebuilding is not a punishment, it is preparation. It is the clearing of the stage before the symphony begins. It is the hollow that makes room for the sacred. In the silence, you will learn to hear your own heartbeat again. In the absence of the crowd, you will discover the company of your spirit. And what a sweet companion she is. What a tender, mighty friend he can be. Speak to that self in the dark. Wrap your arms around the you that survived it all. Say thank you. Say I see you. Say I will never abandon you again. And when the newness begins to settle, when you start to walk with more confidence in your step, do not be surprised when joy returns, not loud and boastful, but gentle and curious, like a bird who hasn't sung in a long time. Let her perch on your shoulder. Let her nest in the branches of your renewed soul. Feed her with gratitude. Water her with awe. Do not question whether you deserve this peace. You do. You always did. The suffering never made you worthy. You were worthy the whole time. The pain just made you ready to receive it. You see, the world will try to tell you that to rebuild is to erase. But that is a lie dressed in logic. To rebuild is not to forget who you were. It is to forgive yourself for having stayed too long where you were not seen. It is to bless the ground you once crawled across, knowing it taught your knees how to rise. You carry your past not as a burden, but as a lantern. It lights your way not with shame, but with wisdom. And when you begin to rebuild from scratch, you learn to recognize the sacred in the small things, the way a cup of tea warms your palms, the way laughter bubbles from you unexpectedly, the way your name sounds when you speak it with pride, not apology. You learn to honor the everyday resurrections, the times you choose patience over anger, softness over defense, courage over convenience. Each small decision is a brick. Each loving choice is a beam. Each moment of self-trust is a cornerstone. Sometimes in this rebuilding, you will ache for what was familiar, even when it was unkind. The heart is funny that way. It can crave even the hands that broke it. But you must remind yourself, with all the compassion you can muster, that healing is not linear. That longing does not mean you made a mistake. That memory is not always a mirror. It can be a prism, showing you fragments but never the full truth. You are allowed to miss the past while still walking away from it. You are allowed to feel the pull of the old life and still keep moving toward your rebirth. Do not shame yourself for being human. You are a constellation of contradictions, and that is what makes you magnificent. The sun does not apologize for rising while the moon still lingers. They both have their place, they both have their time, and so do you. Let your hands touch the new things. Let your eyes drink in the sight of your own transformation. Let your feet carry you into rooms you once thought too grand, too wild, too good for you. You are not too much. You are not too late. You are not out of place. You are exactly where the universe whispered you to be. And if the voice of fear still rattles its chains in your chest, let it come. Let it speak. But do not build your house on its land. Let fear walk beside you if it must, but do not give it the map. Do not let it hold the compass. Let your courage speak louder. Let your truth shine brighter. Let your hope outsing the doubt. Rebuilding is an act of rebellion in a world that profits from your self-doubt. It is defiance. It is divinity. It is saying, I will not die in the shell of who I was. It is rising with the dust still on your shoulders and the fire still in your eyes. It is waking up and deciding again and again to choose life. Not just survival, but living, deep, wild, unapologetic living. There is a river beneath your ribs. There is thunder in your breath. There is stardust in your fingertips. Do not let the mundane convince you that you are ordinary. You are made of the same rhythm that moves oceans. You are shaped by the same wisdom that teaches trees to bloom and birds to return home. You are no accident. You are no afterthought. You are a masterpiece in motion. So as you rebuild, do not rush, do not force. Let it come as it comes. Let the bricks rise slow if they must. Let the paint dry between layers. Let the floor be uneven until it settles. This is not a race. This is a reawakening. It is a gathering of all your scattered pieces into something stronger, wiser, more whole. And when the time comes, and it will come, when you stand tall in the house of your rebirth, look in the mirror and do not search for the one who once broke. She is still there, yes, but she is no longer shattered. He is still there, but he is no longer small. They are there, but they are no longer lost. They have found themselves in the rebuild. They have crowned themselves with the dust of their rising. They have danced their way into wholeness. And there will be moments, quiet ones, when you sit with yourself and feel the old ache. Softer now, gentler. It will not scream like it once did. It will hum like a song you used to love. And you will smile not because it didn't hurt, but because you healed anyway. You'll see a crack in the wall and know it's where the light got in. You'll trace the lines in your palms and recognize them, not as fate, but as freedom. You'll carry yourself with a grace that needs no explanation. And those who meet you then will not know the war you won, just to smile like that. But you will, and that will be enough. Keep rebuilding, even when it's slow, even when it's messy. Even when you're tired, especially then, because every time you do, you are saying yes to yourself, to life, to love. You are saying yes to becoming again and again the kind of person who refuses to be reduced by their pain. You are not starting over, you are starting deeper. From the marrow, from the breath, from the boundless, beautiful, breaking open heart of who you really are. You are not just rebuilding yourself, you are remembering that you were always the builder, you were always the blueprint, you were always the home. Would you like a print-ready version or a spoken word audio of this speech? And so you continue, barefoot on the warm ground of your becoming, heart open like a field waiting for rain. You do not rush the seasons now, you know better. You've learned to watch how the trees do not beg for spring, how they trust the slow return of the sun. You've seen how the ocean pulls back before it rises. You've learned the rhythm of rebuilding is not hurried, it is holy, it is deliberate, it is a slow dance with yourself, and you no longer apologize for moving to your own tempo. There are days you will wake and feel the weight of all that was. The echoes of old voices may try to convince you that you have not gone far, that you are only circling the same grief, the same patterns, but you are not. You are not standing still, you are spiraling upward. From the outside it may look the same, but inside the air is clearer, the sky is closer, the sound of your own spirit is louder. You are not meant to forget what shaped you, but you are also not meant to remain molded in the image of your. You are the sculptor now. You hold the tools. Your hands are stronger than they've ever been. Each time you break open, you find new edges, new curves, new truths inside of you. And what a marvel that is, to become more yourself through the fire, not less. There is something beautiful, something profoundly sacred about those who have known ruin and chosen to rise anyway. Not rise in spite of it, but rise with it. With the ashes still clinging to their clothes, with the smoke still in their lungs, they rise. Not because they are fearless, but because they are faithful to their future, to their calling, to their own unfolding. You are learning that wholeness was never about perfection, it was about presence, being here fully, messily, gloriously. You are learning that it is not the polish that makes a life beautiful, but the cracks, the places where the soul has risked being seen. You are learning that tenderness is not weakness, that softness is not surrender, it is a declaration. I will not let this world harden me into something unrecognizable. I will keep feeling. I will keep loving. I will keep choosing to care. And care you must. For yourself first. For the weary parts of you that once begged for permission to rest. You offer them refuge now. You say, come in, lay down, stay as long as you need. You are no longer the tyrant of your own soul, pushing it to perform and prove. You are its sanctuary, its sacred keeper, its gentle guardian. You begin to notice how peace slips into your days quietly, how it no longer needs to announce itself. It is in the way you hold your coffee, the way you exhale without explanation, the way you say no with grace and yes with fire. It is in the way you do not shrink anymore. You do not apologize for existing. You take up space, not with arrogance, but with reverence. You have learned the language of your own body, the way your chest tightens when something isn't right, the way your laughter rises when something is true, the way your hands reach instinctively for beauty, for flowers, for color, for art, for softness. You no longer betray those signals. You trust them now. You trust yourself. And when the world offers you noise, you choose silence, not to escape, but to hear better, to listen to the murmur of your own becoming. You close your eyes, not to shut out the world, but to see more clearly what lives within you. And what lives within you is no small thing. It is galaxies, it is thunder, it is the prayer your ancestors once whispered into the wind, and the answer that has now become your life. You begin to walk differently, not faster, not louder, but rooted. You walk like someone who knows their own value, who does not chase what does not recognize their worth. You do not run after what was never meant to be yours. You do not plead at doors that have closed. You bless them and keep moving. You know now, anything that requires you to shrink is not for you. Anything that asks you to lie to yourself is too small for your spirit. And as you build, you become a lighthouse to others still drifting, not because you tell them where to go, but because you light the way by being yourself. You shine, and in your shining, you remind them that it is safe to shine too. You do not need to fix them. You do not need to carry them. You only need to keep becoming. And in your becoming, you offer them permission to do the same. You begin to forgive. Not because what happened was okay, but because you are too precious to keep drinking from the cup of bitterness. You understand now that forgiveness is not about forgetting. It is about freeing yourself, about saying, I will not let your actions define the architecture of my spirit. I will not let your hurt become my home. I will build something better, something true, something mine. You begin to find your voice, not the one the world taught you to use, but the one that was buried beneath all the shoulds and silences. You begin to speak your truth, even if your voice quivers, even if your knees shake. You do not need to roar to be powerful. Sometimes power is in the whisper. Sometimes truth is a song hummed under your breath as you plant seeds for the life you're growing. And grow it does, slow but undeniably. You look around one day and realize you are surrounded by things you once only prayed for: peace, clarity, boundaries, joy. You look at your life and see how the small decisions, the quiet courage, the daily grace, it all added up. It built something lasting, something real. You are no longer afraid to be seen, not even in your becoming. You no longer hide your process. You say, this is me, in progress, in motion, in bloom. And those who can meet you there, they are your people. The rest, you release them with love, with softness, with the understanding that not everyone is meant to witness your full becoming. There will still be storms. This life promises no shelter from the winds of change. But you no longer fear the storm. You are no longer brittle. You are bendable. You are rooted. You are not afraid of being shaken, because you know what is real will remain. You know that what is built with love cannot be swept away. You know that you are no longer the version of yourself that breaks easy. You wake each morning with new eyes, not because everything has changed, but because you have. You see differently, you feel differently, you love differently. You have become your own sanctuary, your own revolution, your own renaissance. You have returned to yourself, and what a homecoming it is. You touch the world with lighter hands now, not because you care less, but because you carry more wisdom. You do not hold what does not want to stay. You do not cling to what needs to go. You have learned to trust the release, to bless the letting go. You have learned that sometimes the greatest power is in surrender, not in giving up, but in giving over to something deeper, something wider, something higher. You become unrecognizable to those who only knew you by your wounds. They do not understand this new light in your eyes, this softness in your strength, but that is not your burden to bear. You are not here to explain your healing. You are here to live it, and live it you do, fully, boldly, with reverence, with wild joy. You do not wait for life to be perfect to celebrate. You dance in the midst of the dust. You sing while the pain is still drying. You toast to the beauty of the process. You are not waiting to arrive. You know now the journey is the destination. You carry your story with pride now, not as a chain, but as a tapestry. Woven with pain, yes, but also with purpose. Stitched with struggle, yes, but also with strength. You are not ashamed of your becoming. You are not embarrassed by your healing. You wear it like a crown, like a compass, like a song. You rebuild yourself not because you were broken, but because you were always growing. You shed what no longer fit, what no longer served, what no longer sang with your soul's key, and in its place you have crafted something magnificent. Not perfect, not pristine, but true. You are the poem now, the builder and the bloom, the cracked earth and the spring rain. You are the story unfolding in real time, the breath between stanzas, the pause that makes the music, and still you rise. Would you like me to continue with another 2,000 words in the same style? So now, beloved, you stand at the edge of yourself, hands open, heart open, spirit stretched wide like the sky at dawn, and you know, deep in your bones, deep in that silent, sovereign place within you, that you were never broken, only buried. Never lost, only waiting to be seen. Never finished, only unfolding. You have rebuilt yourself, not in the image of who they said you should be, but in the fierce, holy fire of who you've always been. You have stitched your story into your skin with golden thread. You have honored every scar, every silence, every shadow that taught you to reach for the light. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to become in the face of it. You are not the ruin. You are the resurrection. You are not the ending. You are the beginning, again and again and again. And the world may never understand the fullness of your journey. They may never see the nights you sat in the dark and kept breathing. They may never know how many times you almost gave up. But you will know, you will remember, and that remembering will be your crown. So walk on, with your head high and your spirit singing. Walk on with your voice steady and your truth unwavering. Walk on, not because the road is easy, but because you are ready. Because you have been tempered by time, refined by the fire, and made whole by the love you dared to give yourself.